By popular request, we are excited to introduce the brand new checklist feature on training progress. Checklists are a fantastic way to help your team adhere to excellence and consistency. Whether for daily tasks to make sure nothing gets forgotten, or patient side so that steps critical to patient safety are remembered and recorded. Or maybe intermittent management tasks so that you can keep track of the process. Or less frequent tasks which you need a record that they are being performed correctly. Key features of our checklist include easy access and setup, the ability to add notes to each item, the ability to save and return to a checklist later on, links to reference elements, ability to allow multiple access, allowing more than one user to access the same instance of a checklist, the ability to set reminders, whether daily, weekly, monthly or annually, multiple storage options, including storage within training progress or offline, the ability to create auditable reports. Check out how to use checklists in your training progress platform. To create a new checklist, scroll down to your Our Business panel and click on My Checklists. If you've got a reminder for a particular checklist, it will be highlighted in red. To view open checklists, you can click on the checklist title or its little arrow and it will show you open instances of the checklist that you can access and help to complete. Alternatively, you can create a new instance of a checklist by clicking on the plus button. This is creating a morning checklist for today. Some of the fields are text fields and this allows you to fill in details. In this example, we can fill in the room and the shift of the person completing it. Then, as we complete the tasks on the checklist, we can tick the boxes. If for some reason we are unable to complete the task, or if the task is only partially complete, we can make a note of it in the notes box. Training progress checklists also allow you to access elements which are related to the item. Click on the element to view and it will open in your training program in another window, which allows you to go back to your checklist. If you haven't finished the checklist, you can click Save Changes and that will store the checklist with an incomplete marker, allowing your colleagues to access it if multiple access has been allowed on that checklist. You can then go back in by clicking on the instance in order to mark the last items, and then when you have finished, mark as complete. Note, you don't have to tick all the boxes to mark as complete. When it's marked as complete, you can view a PDF version of your checklist, and there you can see the items that are ticked and any notes that we have made. The checklist instance will all be stored within Training Progress, but you can also download this PDF and this can be stored offline for your convenience. Checklists are mobile ready, so are super convenient to access from your smartphone. This video shows you how to create a new checklist. This video is looking at how to create checklists on training progress. Scroll down to Supervisor Activity panel and click on Checklist Admin. You'll have this function if you're a System Admin, Supervisor, Super Trainer or a Line Manager. Existing checklists can be viewed by clicking on the item title or its little green arrow. This will allow you to look at the access edit the checklist itself and look at reports for the checklist. You can change the dates between which this report is run, and you're able to see reports for items which are completed, but also ones which are not yet completed. And you can view a PDF of each of the instances. To create a new checklist, click on Add New Checklist Item and give the checklist a name. And then click Add Checklist. Then to edit the checklist, click on it. First, you need to decide access. Who's going to be able to see this checklist? You can select individual job roles or click all job roles, or you can select a job group which will then place appropriate ticks within the boxes. Alternatively, you can type the name of an individual team member, or you can select according to privilege level within training progress. Once you've chosen who's going to be able to have access to create your checklists, you can decide whether to allow more than one person to access an individual instance of that checklist. So for example, if one person creates a checklist, can they save it, and then somebody else can go in and tick additional items on it. I'm going to say yes. You also then have the option to set reminders. If you tick the set reminder button, you then get to choose whether your reminder is set on a daily basis, a monthly basis, or annually. If it's daily, you get to choose the days that the reminder is sent. If it is monthly, you get to choose the day of the month that the reminder is sent. And if it is annually, you select the next date, and then it'll be that date ongoing every year. Reminders are in the form of an indication dot on the training progress dashboard, but also an email is received on the indicated day. Click Save Changes. You can then start to build your checklist. For this, we go to the Edit tab. First, you can add free text fields. These are fields where the users can type in particular information. So, for example, the name of a patient or a client number or the name of a room. When an instance of the checklist is created, the name of the person who created it and the time and date are automatically recorded, so you do not need to include these in your free text fields. Next, you can start adding your tick box items. By clicking on the little arrow, you can associate elements with that item. Type in the title of the element which is associated with this item. You can add more than one element to each item. Click on the green button here to add further items. When you have finished, click Save Changes. Make sure that the item is live by clicking on the eye icon. This checklist will now be available on the My Checklist button of team members who have been associated with it. In this case, it was those in the reception team. You'll need to know how to track your checklists and run audits. This video shows you how. Checklist reports can be accessed via your administrator reports. Click on Checklist Report. Click on the title of the checklist that you are interested in. This will show you the date range that the report is reporting between. Obviously, this could get quite long, so you may want to shorten this down to focus in on certain times. Below here, we have the date and time that the instances of the checklist were created. You can see who created the checklist. If it has been completed, it'll give you the date that it was completed on. If there's nothing there, that means it's not yet completed. You can see whether all of the boxes are ticked, and you can see whether it was allowed for multiple users or not. To look at any one of those instances, you can click on Open PDF, and that will open the PDF of the that instance of the checklist. If it has not yet been completed, you can click on the red View button, and it will actually take you into the checklist, which you can view and edit. Click on it to close that again. If you would like to see these results in a more tabulated form, you can click on the CSV. Again, you can change the dates of the report for the CSV. And again, you can see date, time, created by, completed by, and the completed date and time. For each of the tick box items, you can see for each instance whether or not it was ticked. And these columns represent the free text fields. The CSV reports of your checklist allow you to run audits. Any questions? Click the live chat button on the bottom left-hand corner of your Training Progress platform, or email support@training-progress.com.